Here now with Grandview head coach Mike Woodley following that exciting win over St. Ambrose and looking ahead to the homecoming matchup with the Waldorf Warriors. And Mike, question number one, have you come down off your high yet from Saturday's win?
Well, we're done today because we're getting ready for the next game. But yeah, it was an awful exciting weekend, Geoff, and a credit to our kids. A wonderful victory. And in the fashion in which they did it was what means so much to our team, I think.
You look at the numbers of the game, pretty much dead even. First downs, total yards, rushing, passing, almost except down to the scoreboard. I mean, it was a very entertaining game between two quality ball clubs.
Well, I thought that too. I knew going in, we hoped going in, that it would be a game like that where we had a chance to win it at the end, and we gave ourselves a chance to win it at the end when our defense went in and got the 3 and out in regulation, and then we got the ball with great field position out there midfield, and we're able to drive it in. And you know, it was a gut check time for our kids, and they stood up and passed the test, and we scored a touchdown to take the lead there.
Great measuring stick, I think, coming off the Marion game into the St. Ambrose game, about how your guys talked to Austin about this, how the maturity level of the team, I think, took a step up last week.
Well, you know, in particular on offense, because we're young on that side. We knew it was going to take time to develop our offensive line, our quarterback play, our running backs are all young, and we relied on our wide receivers. But I think, you know, with the upperclassmen, in particular on the defensive side, kind of leading us around on both sides of the ball, really got us through this tight game.
Talk about the play of not only Derek Fulton, but Dorian Ballantine and the rotation that you guys had working there into that game.
Well, going in, Dorian's been our number one quarterback, but Derek has played so well, and we've been able to add a little bit more to our offense because of Derek's passing ability. And Dorian, who can run the ball, as we all know, we just thought we had some packages in for Dorian and some for Derek, and we kind of mixed them in there together, and we gave them a little bit of a problem, I think, too, because they hadn't seen that, and they hadn't seen our empty set where we were throwing the ball quite a bit, and probably gave them a few problems. And obviously it worked in our favor when Derek was in there, because Derek can run the ball too, and Dorian can pass the ball. So it's kind of it's not like taking a running back and putting him in there as what do you want to call it, a wildcat or whatever. Because Dorian can pass the football, and they have to be able to defend that in addition to his running ability.
First 300-yard passing game for a Grandview quarterback in just over 4+ years of Viking football. That's especially coming out of a freshman, that says a lot.
Well, we threw it more probably than we've ever thrown in a game before too. We felt going in that we wanted to be able to establish the passing game so we could run it enough, in which we did. We ran for over 100 yards and threw for over 300. So, I think it's a nice little mix there when you can throw the football. Obviously, we threw it a lot, and thank goodness we completed a lot of them.
A special teams play, Ben Hurley, 3 field goals, including the game winner.
Well, as I tell him and the kids out there, he's not very good in practice for some reason. I don't know what that is. But on game day, he's been golden, and step up there as a freshman in that overtime and to kick that was a very, very pressure-packed moment for that young man. And and he's like most of them. He wants to be put in that position, and Ben's one of those guys. He played quarterback in high school. He was a really good athlete, and I think those kickers dream about those kind of moments when it's a walk-off. You walk off the field with a win after the kick, and I was really excited for him and for the team as a result.
What about the highs and lows in the very end, especially when the Vikings fumbled in the first overtime, and then it looks as though St. Ambrose is going to set up for what would be a game-winning kick on their end, and then they fumbled it to give the Vikings new life? Well,
we always talk about not giving in, regardless of the moment, and our kids didn't. The wind could have went out of their sails after they tied us there at the end with that 49-yard field goal. We had that game won at 26-23, and their kid stepped out there, a freshman also, and kicks a 48, 49-yard field goal to tie us. But I didn't sense the wind coming out of our kids. They were fired up, and we went into the overtime on we're on offense first, and well, I mean, we're inside the 5-yard line when we fumble, and that was very disheartening. But our defense didn't let them get it down. They went back out there and said, hey, we're going to get the ball back. And if they lined up to kick a field goal, I kind of believe maybe our kids would have went and blocked it too. So, again, a credit to the character of our kids, sticking in, not giving in, and creating that situation to get to the second overtime.
Defensively speaking, not the best effort numbers-wise, but again, the bottom line is the guys on the defensive side of the ball rose up when they had to, and the numbers at the end of the game showed it.
Well, I'm not a big numbers guy, Jeff. You know, statistics to me are irrelevant when it comes to the scoreboard. And, you know, that's the way we've played. We put more points on the board than our opponents. Statistically, it was an even game, as you had mentioned earlier. But in the very end, our defense, and again, we lacked just a little bit of depth in our defensive line. We probably should have played a couple more guys during the game because of all the pass rushing. But our defensive line, those 3 and 4 guys in there, Higgins, Goodenbauer, Monsivius, Cody Redmond, for the most part, those 4 guys played almost every snap on defense and had to pass rush a lot. And that takes a lot out of you when you're playing defensive line, all that pass rushing. And those kids had the character, the willpower, whatever you want to call it, in the very end, in the overtime, to get a sack and to get held to cause a penalty because they were fighting so hard to win that football game.
So the Vikings move into Saturday's homecoming contest with Waldorf, 4-2, 3-0 in the Midwest Conference of the Mid-States Football Association. Waldorf comes in 0-2 in conference play. They have won 3 games, 3-2 overall. A team that you've had good success with in the past, but the theme with the Waldorf Warriors is improved.
Oh, by far. This looks like a whole different Waldorf team on tape now that we've watched them and studied them the last few days. They're not what I would call the Waldorf of the old, but they are offensively, they're very challenging. They got great speed. They got one of the most exciting players in the league in James Lloyd, number 2. They look like a different team. And, you know, they've lost 2 games in the conference, to William Penn and to St. Francis. Top 2 teams, you know, on our side of the league. So, you know, their 2 losses are, you know, against awful good football teams, and hopefully we can, you know, we can capitalize being homecoming, playing a home game, that we can get after them and win this football game.
What's the main theme you think for Saturday's contest?
Well, you know, I don't like talking about trap games and all that. For us, it's just let's improve again this week as we have each week, and if we do that and play our game, go out and compete as hard as we have, which I have no doubt our kids will do that, so we don't get trapped. And it's a game we expect to win, and hopefully that'll be the case, and we don't, you know, stub our toe, so to speak, and let this one get by, because we're in the driver's seat in the conference right now. We got 3 under our belt, so the kids should be feeling good about themselves. You know, they can't wait to get back out to practice, I'm hoping, you know, so we can make improvement and get into this game with Waldorf.
Good luck Saturday, Mike.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Grandview head coach Mike Woodley.